Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the Tansio Mirai, also known as TSMR. And this particular model that I have for you guys is the Sands. This is a hybrid, the 1+3 hybrid. And from what I was able to ascertain, it's actually the first dynamic drive and balanced armature hybrid that TSMR has ever built. This is actually also the first time that I come into contact with Tansio Mirai products. And they're a company that has been around since roughly 2016. Obviously, a Chinese company, and part of, let's say, the more upscale Chifi products. Excuse me. And from what I was actually able to find out when I was looking more into Tansio Mirai, the name TSMR is actually let's say a acronym to a certain extent to the Tang Song era, which was an era which was comprised of the Tang dynasty and the Song dynasty, let's put it that way. And they played on those two concepts of those two dynasties and came up with the name. This is what I was able to find out, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Anyway, on to the actual IEM, which is what we want to know. The TSMR Sands is part of a very vast number of IEMs made by Tansio Mirai, and they've got some from what I was able to again ascertain, because this is the first time that I'm actually physically listening to one, and you know, they've actually got some pretty interesting models. The Zodiac is a 12BA, which apparently has been able to gather a certain amount of a good fan base. Another model which I understand was also pretty successful was the TSMR 5, a 5BA, kind of following the lines of the Softiers RSV. And then there's the Tansio Mirai Spark, which is a 4EST and 7BA, which is their flagship. And there was also the Tansio Mirai Land, which is a 2ST, 3BA, and 1 dynamic driver. So you could kind of say it's basically the Sands, and they've added 2 ESTs to that. These are kind of I would say the more popular models of Tansio Mirai. Anyway, let me just quickly show you the box, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Nice package, looks the business, looks premium. In the back, obviously, there's some information which, well, the majority of it is in English, is in Chinese with some translation. I can't ascertain if it's correct or not, but I'm pretty sure they did a good job. Anyway, inside of the box, we open it up. The IEMs came over there. There's some paperwork, and then there is a load of accessories. Let me just actually put this to the side and grab the case. There's a whole load of accessories, plenty of tips, cleaning tool, dual flange. There's the works. This is the stock cable, which I didn't dislike the sound of the cable, no. And the only reason why I didn't use the cable is that it's got this, it's very stiff. It just had a tendency of constantly wanting to pull the IM out of my ears. And that is, in essence, the only reason why I didn't use the cable. The terminations are pretty decent. You can actually buy this this cable from Penon separately, which is where I actually bought this Tansio Mirai from. And were it not for this kind of tendency of wanting to take the IM out of my ears, I would have used the cable. It's perfectly. I ended up using actually a XINHS cable. This is one of their flagship cables. Very, very nice cable. Kind of reminiscent of Nice HTK as well. Nice HTK is a cable which is very similar to this, if you actually look carefully. 4.4 2-pin connector, and these are the IEMs themselves. Very, very nicely built. I mean, the quality of the build is perfect. As you can see, I'm using the green flange tips. There we go. So there's really nothing to say or to point out with regards to the build. Back here we have probably the main feature of the Sands, which is these tuning switches, which for the most part they affect sound in a pretty noticeable manner. And I've actually left it in the position that I did most of my listening to, or all of it basically, and the position which I like the most, which is 100, which is basically a position that emphasizes a little bit the bass. And why? Because in the 000 position, the bass is below flat. Okay, is it this particular model that I have here that maybe is not graphing accordingly, but it's very, very flat, and that flatness overemphasizes then the mids and the upper mids and the treble, and makes it, well, at least for me, I'm sure there will be people that will probably enjoy this type of sound, makes it very, very bright sounding and very thin sounding. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. This is the carrying case. The carrying case is, in my opinion, a little bit on the small side. I mean, I had the stock cable inside there just a few seconds, and it basically, you struggle to put the IEMs and the cable inside here in a nice, comfortable manner. Let's put it that way. It does look like real leather. It smells like real leather, so I will assume that it's real leather. There we go. Okay, so on to the Tansio Mirai with a little bit more of detail. What can I say, or what can I tell you guys about it? It's an IEM that, well, first of all, it uses two Sonian balanced armatures for the mids, and a single Knowles balanced armature for the highs. It's got a 10mm bass, and well, here is where now we start getting to the characteristic of the sound. The way that the Sands was tuned, in my opinion, it was tuned to be a highly resolving IEM. It was tuned to be very detailed, and in that aspect, yes, it's a very capable IEM technically, and for those that are technically inclined, that like the micro and the macro details, that like having a realistic imaging and positioning and a great sound stage, and having that holographic presentation of the sound stage, this will probably be the IEM for you guys. I mean, instruments like electric guitars are not only positioned correctly, but they have the right amount of energy. Now, having said all of this, this personality is twofold. If on the one hand it's super detailed and highly capable of bringing out all the details in a song, it is also very unforgiving when it comes to certain recordings, and it can, in those circumstances, be bright and actually maybe take away the pleasure of listening to a specific song if the recording wasn't done in the most of adequate manner. So this capability of being highly resolving is a two-faced situation. On the one hand, yes, it will give you all the detail that you will probably ever want, but the clarity, everything is just top notch. But at the expense, or at the cost rather, that with poorly recorded stuff, you will notice it become a little bit of a hot sauce. Let's put it that way. Having said that, I had it, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, in the bass enhanced position. And in this bass enhanced position, at least for me and for my personal taste, it made things just come together in a more pleasant manner. It still has a lot of that detail. Obviously, it's a little bit now subdued and perhaps a little bit lost because of the bass, which is perfectly executed. It's got just the right amount of weight, of authority, of presence, and it's just, it's just right. It's on the dot, perfect. It's never overpowering. It never detracts anything from the overall presentation. But okay, compared to the position where the bass enhancement is off, yes, it will take away some of that craziness of the detail. Personally, like I said, I prefer it in this manner. I prefer to have that bass, and the reason why I prefer to have that bass is, although I'm a person that likes detail, and I like an IEM that's capable of technically being correct, I like an IEM that, for me, and this is the most important characteristic for me, it has to be tonally correct. I like an IEM that is tonally correct, that the timbre is right. And it's just, however perfect it is in all of this, of its detail capabilities and so on and so forth, I just feel that it loses out in that timbre, and it kind of becomes almost fake. It doesn't become realistic. Perhaps others will disagree with me, and that's fine. This is what this hobby is about. Is what I say is not the be all end all, and that's not the intention. The intention is for us to all enjoy an IEM, be it a $5 IEM or be it a $3,000 IEM. We enjoy it for whatever reasons we enjoy it, and that's that. Personally, for the music that I listen to, I like that timbre and that tonality to have a certain old school warmth to it, and that's the reason, for example, that with regards to certain IEMs that I've tried recently from Penon and from ISN, I have been very pleased and very satisfied because the tonality of some of those IEMs, especially, for example, one that comes to mind straight away is the Serial. It is just unbelievable. It is just like I was listening to some 70s big hi-fi speakers, and it's got this crazy good sound. When I listen to the EST50, the Tribrid from ISN, the same situation happens, So for me, again, the most important characteristic that I always look for in an IEM is how does its timbre and tonality sound, and that keeping in mind that as my main important factor. With the bass enhancement switch on, I get that from the Tansio Mirai. With it off, no, I don't. I get an IEM which is very resolving, very capable technically, but it's just it's not. It wouldn't be my go-to choice. Having said that, and having already basically told you guys that the sound is highly resolving, technically very capable, that the bass, the mids, and the treble all very well executed. How does it then stack up with some of its competition? And here is where we get into a little bit of a complicated situation, because there aren't exactly many IEMs that have this type of characteristic in the sound. And I always like doing my reviews comparing whatever I'm reviewing with IEMs that have a similar type of sound and, if possible, configuration. So I've selected 3 IEMs, one for a specific reason, the other 2 for having very much this kind of sound that the Tansio Mirai is capable of giving. One is an oldie but equally a crowd favorite, the Moondrop, the Blessing 2. And it's precisely because it has all that capability of being very detailed, very resolving, very capable when it comes to its technicalities. When compared to the Tansio, especially, well, let's put it this way. If I compare it to the Tansio with the bass switch off, or with the bass enhancement off, I would probably end up choosing the Blessing 2 because it sounds more complete. But in terms of utmost detail and the Tansio beats it. Now, when I switch on that bass enhancement, then the Tansio Mirai is my choice. So as I was saying, when I have the bass enhancement on, the overall presentation of the Tansio is just more satisfying. It's got, in my opinion, and please take that take that into consideration. In my opinion, it's got every bit as much detail and even more than the Blessing 2, but it's got that bass. It has that bass which the Moondrop just is not capable of having. It might have it to a certain extent in terms of overall quality, but not the quantity. And by no means am I saying now that this is a bass monster or anything of the sort. No, it's just, I know that Tansio Mirai in that aspect has done a good job of making sure that the bass always matches the rest of the presentation. If you are a person that just likes details and clarity and like specific instruments, then you have that bass switch off and you are in pure, perfect bliss. If you are a person that likes that kind of detail but wants your bass there, then they've given you that bass in just the right amount. I think that's the best way to characterize the Tansio. The other IM that I have here, I have it here because its price now is more similar to the Tansio. Tansio is roughly $320. The Blessing is roughly $290. Is the Audiosense AQ7, which is roughly around $300 now, sometimes a little bit less. And again, it's an IM that has this very detailed sound, very resolving sound, but it falls short when compared to the Tansio Mirai in this aspect. Over here, you very much notice the BA timbre. You very much notice that there's BAs at work, and you can even notice almost what BA is doing what, let's put it that way. You can kind of pick up on that to a certain extent if you really have the perfect song and you're listening in the right conditions. That is something that the Tansio, at least with what I heard and with my old ears, I really couldn't say that it was bugging me. No, one or two occasions I could pick up a little bit of that BA timbre, especially the few times that I listened to it without the bass enhancement. But once the bass enhancement was on, it sounded very coherent. Everything sounded very well put together, and you couldn't really differentiate between that's the DD, that's the BAs. No, everything just very homogeneous. I think is the correct way of saying it. Very harmonious. The final one that I have here is the Aful, the Performer 5. And the reason why the Aful Performer 5 is here is very simple. It's a hybrid, a 1+4. Well, this is a 1+3, that's a 1+4, that's a 1+6. This is a 1+4. And the reason why they are full is because when it was launched a couple of months ago, it kind of came and shook the foundations of firstly of what a 1+4 could do and what a 1+4 could do at around $200. Because I mean, you can buy this from Hi-Fi Go for $204 if I'm mistaken. That's the price I saw today. And when you factor in what this is capable of doing for that price, you say to yourself, okay, this is going to be a tough one to beat. And that is ultimately, I think, the biggest problem that the Tansio Mirai encounters. It is an IM which is extremely well built. It doesn't lack anything in terms of its accessories, but it comes at a time, well, a little bit before, but it is available at a time where it is competing with IMs which are really very capable and at a price which is just unheard of. I actually was also going to put here the high senior, the Mega 5P, because it also kind of has this type of sound, but the high senior is more neutral. The high senior is kind of like an IM that you use to, let's say, clear your ears, to reset your ears, and then you start listening to whatever you want after resetting them. This is an IM for the detail freaks. This is, the Blessing is an IM for the detail neutral. Okay, this is an IM for the detail freaks, but it almost hit the nail on the head, almost hit. And the biggest flaw that it had initially was the price, which was just out of context in my opinion. And therefore is a very good all-rounder. Ultimately, it's not going to have the technicalities of the Tansio. Yes, that is true. But it's got this most amazing mid-range. It's got this most amazing bass. Timbre and tonality on their full is top-notch. And again, I'll repeat myself. That's my characteristic, my main thing. And over there, it is just perfect. It has a complete accessories package as well. Very well built with its 3D printing, which is actually where they've been allowed to save money and to offer an IM which has got this exquisite build at a price which, like I said, it's just not common. And it's just a very satisfying IM to listen to. The full is really a great IM. Period. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. Tansio Mirai Sands TSMR, if you want to call it that way. An amazing IM, very well built, very well accessorized, perfect for those that are, freaks in a good way. I'm not insulting anybody. Freaks for detail and for technicalities, but not the ideal as an all-rounder in my opinion. I think not many people will be able to really appreciate what the Tansio is capable of giving. And like I said just a few seconds ago, it's a niche IM. It's an IM that's directed for a specific crowd of people, and that makes it both a success and not a success to a certain extent. And yeah, that's it, guys. I'll show you the graphs now quickly, and any questions, as always, please feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, and welcome now to the graph section for the Tansio Mirai Sands. Straight away I start off with the actual graph of the Tansio Mirai in its 000 setting. So as you can see, the bass is below neutral, and you notice it. You notice that it's very thin. The pinna gain and the rest of the way the mids are done, that's fine. This area here of 6.5 to, let's say, 8K, I'm guessing some of it is, of some of the speakiness is coupler related, some of it is actual the way it is. Anyway, that's the setting of 000. This is the setting of 111. So now you have the bass, but you have also an enhancement done on the treble and on the mid-range. You could argue that some people might like it this way, but I just feel that it makes it perhaps too V-shaped. So it goes from being a neutral bright to a bright V, let's put it that way. And then this one is the setting that I ended up using, which is the one that enhances the bass. I'm actually going to take the other one out. Enhances the bass, okay, but maintains everything kind of in check with regards to the mids and the treble. This is the setting that I used, so I'm actually going to just leave that one on there, and I'll start comparing it with the other IEMs. The first one that I'm going to put on is the blessing, and you can see straight away, by the way, that they are there, the two of them. What I was saying about the similarity that they have in terms of the mids and the detail and all of that. But then it's the bass of the Moondrop that just sounds thinner. It doesn't sound as authoritative as the bass on the Tansio Mirai. The next one that I'm going to show you is the AQ7, and again, the situation that I mentioned earlier on in the review is here. Loads of detail. The bass is very relaxed. It's there, but it's very relaxed, so it doesn't have nowhere near the same energy of the bass of the Tansio. But then this early rise of the pin again just makes things a little bit unnaturally forward, and this whole jaggedness of the whole thing throughout just contributes to the B8 timbre being very noticeable. Okay, and then finally the full. Again, the full, as you can see, has a similar-ish graph to the Tansio, but ultimately it doesn't have the same kind of ultimate detail that the Tansio has. What it does have, and this is what seduced me on the Performer 5, is a very well tuned IM throughout that just is tonally very correct. The timbre, it's just got this nice, lush, old school kind of detailed sound. Let's put it that way. And that's the magic of the Performer 5. The Tansio, as you can see, very nice as well. The overall graph of it, a little bit of a bleed, but it's not really. This is not an issue, honestly. It's just very nicely tuned. Nothing is excessive. I mean, everything stays within a nice. So that's 79 to 88, so 9 dBs roughly. It's really nice. It is really a nice IM, very much focused for a specific crowd of people. This here in no way actually, by looking just at this, you would never say that it's the detail monster that it is. No way. And so that makes it a very focused IM for a specific crowd of people that really like details. And if you want to take that to another level of details, then all you have to do is just leave it in 0, and that's there. Or then you can actually even boost the bass and even get more detail out of it, although I just didn't like the specific setting. For me, the setting that just makes the most sense is the one that I used, which is the 100, which is this one. Anyway, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed my little take on the Tansio Mirai. I hope it helps you guys get a better picture of what it's about. And as always, if you have the opportunity to listen to it, especially those of you that live in parts of the world that have that availability of stores that you can go in and walk and listen before making any purchases. I mean, I think that's the wisest thing to do. Don't just be throwing money away and then regretting it. All right. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.